Om Shanti friends, how are you? Um, and in this video the topic we are going to discuss is whether or not it is possible to bring peace through breathing techniques or doing stretching exercises, yogasana exercises. Is that possible? So those exercises we do based on some faith, which is actually wrong. So we are going to put light on what is that which goes wrong. So first, let's say if we can get peace of mind only through breathing exercises. So here we are not saying that breathing exercises cannot bring peace at all. It brings, but it cannot bring peace permanently. So how does it bring peace? It brings peace as much as one can experience peace during tense situations by indulging in habits like smoking cigarettes, watching television. So everybody knows that's not going to solve your problem, thereby that's not going to bring you peace permanently. The same goes with practicing breathing techniques, pranayamam and stretching exercises. They don't bring peace permanently as well. But we have misunderstood this basically because we have misunderstood some basic thing, that but everybody knows that peace of mind is something that's related to mind. So breathing exercises involve using body parts, but mind does not exist in any part of your body. That's the basic thing we have misunderstood for centuries. It's not in the body. Actually, you itself is not the body. It is you who thinks, not your body that thinks for you. If your body or any body part can think, then the dead body should think as well, right? Dead body, it has brain, it doesn't think, it doesn't work. So what is it that thinks? Maybe people tend to argue that as long as brain is active, it is brain that thinks. That's not the case as well, because you might have experienced or heard that people who left their bodies, that is after the death, their close relatives can easily experience that the dead ones are actually in their home. They can feel their presence. They may or may not be able to see them, but still they can easily sense their presence, which is why they call the priest from their religion and perform certain rituals to get rid of them. So if it is the body that thinks, then we have actually destroyed the body by burning or by burying, right? So how does the ghost, the dead ones, recognize that this is the home that I belong to, this is my relative? How do they recognize? they do it without their body. So obviously it is, the mind is not present in any part of your brain. So where is it? If we know that, then we can know how to bring peace permanently, because we are going to deal with the solution as well. Because our motive is not to say that yogasana and breathing exercise cannot bring peace. Our motive is to put forward to the people what actually brings peace. We have to provide solution, right? So by knowing who we really are, we can then see where mind is. Then we can discuss about the ways how to bring peace to the mind. So who are we actually? We can not get the answer for this from any textbook, whether it is religious or scientific. You can never get answer for that, because humans are totally ignorant of this knowledge. Then where can we find the answer? Only God has the answer. And how can we get answer from God? We will get answer from God only when He comes to the earth. When does He come? In all religious books, they have either directly or indirectly mentioned about the arrival of God in the end. So by end, how can we understand which one is the end of the world? How to identify whether we have reached the end? So in all religious books, it is clearly mentioned that will be the end, will be the time where people are filled with worries, where this nature itself is turning against humans. So all these things, natural calamities, all these sufferings, whether it is health related, wealth related, or mind related, everything persists now. Is it not persisting now? Ask for yourself. It is there now, right? So even people are thinking about the arrival of Third World War. So what are you waiting for to believe that this is not the end? This is the time. If God has to come, it is now that He has to come. He has come. Where is He? If He comes to a religion, then the other religious people will think, then why not in our religion, right? So He is not coming into any religion. And God's word is not fully present in any religious text. Well, only a drop of His knowledge is present in religious books, only a tiny drop. But God is the knowledge of ocean of knowledge. So the only place where we can get the direct knowledge of God is Brahma Kumari's institution that spread across the globe. Okay, what God teaches there is, the first lesson itself is that we are not this perishable body, but we are the imperishable soul that exists in between the eyebrows of this body. And we are here to act in a drama. So the actual home for the souls is this place, this reddish orange color region. It's a light world. It is called the soul world, Parandam. There are many names for that. Um, and God, and we souls exist here as point of lights, and our father, actually God is our father, actually he is the father of all souls, not the bodies. So he is also a soul, which is why we call as supreme soul. He also resides in this world. He is shown as a point of light at the top. I don't know if you can actually see that. It's here. So he is called by many names in many religions across the globe, but the God is one. The only difference between God and other souls is that we take bodies, human bodies, but God does not take human body for himself, which means he doesn't enter the birth and death cycle. It's a cycle actually. The drama itself is a 5,000 year cycle, and this cycle is called kalpa, one kalpa. Each 5,000 year constitutes a kalpa, and when we first take birth in this planet, will be filled with only divine qualities like love, peace, happiness. So we were deities in the beginning. So these deities are being worshipped by Hindus even today in temples in India. So it's us, not God. God doesn't take birth. So this is how we are in our early stage of entering this world, and we have this massive power of achieving whatever we want just by the power of our thought. How is that possible? Because the moment they entered this planet, they were very conscious that they are not this imperishable body but the imperishable soul that shines like a star in between our eyebrows. That's how this soul looks like, but it is very tiny. We cannot see either by this naked eye or through any scientific instruments, because that's the tiniest thing on this planet. That's why nobody has ever seen this soul. So no wonder that nobody can see God as well, because he is also a soul of same size as human souls. So since we are conscious that we are this body in the we are not this body but the souls. In the beginning we had that power. Slowly after several rebirths, so this world will be heaven for the first 2500 years, that is first half of this kalpa. So after several rebirths, where after completing first 2500 years, we slowly forget the fact that we are the imperishable souls and start mistaking ourselves as this perishable body, which is why we start developing characters that is body related, and those characters are lust, anger, greed, attachment, ego. And it is these five vices that's causing suffering for humans across the globe. So the basic culprit is this body consciousness. This body consciousness is the actual Satan or Maya. So that is what causing pain. So towards the end of this kalpa, in the last 100 years, God himself enters an old man's body and names this old man as Brahma and start giving this knowledge. So those who are listening to the God's words through Brahma's mouth, they are called children of Brahma, which in Hindi it is called Brahma, Kumar and Kumaris. So that's basically the reason for the name of this institution. So now what we need to do to regain the power is to consider ourselves as the soul continuously. How can we achieve that? By repeatedly saying to ourselves, to our mind, that we are not this body but the star that shines between our eyebrows. That's us. So now, is that possible to become soul consciousness in a fraction of a second? No, it is not possible. It takes time, and we need to do yoga for that. To forget the body consciousness, we need to do yoga. By yoga, what I mean is meditation, the real meditation taught directly by God. How do we do that? The yoga actually means remembering God. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So before remembering God, we have to realize ourselves as the soul that is totally separate from this body, and then we have to connect our mind to the God that shines like a tiny star in this golden orange world. So this is what yoga is all about. So now coming to the topic, where is mind? Right, we are the souls that is very tiny, that's the tiniest on the planet, and the mind is actually within the soul. The soul is composed of mind, intellect and sanskar. Since soul itself is invisible, obviously these three parts are also invisible. So it is from the mind the thoughts arise. It is the intellect that decides whether to act on that thought, whether to allow what they pick from their environment to enter the soul. So that's basically the work of the intellect. And what is sanskar? It is the recording. So whatever messages that we take from our surroundings get recorded in our soul, and that is called sanskar. Not only from the surrounding but also from yourself. If you constantly produce a certain kind of thought, even that gets recorded strongly. So that is what sanskar is about. But it is from the sanskar the mind produces thoughts. It doesn't create on its own. So what we basically do in Rajayoga taught by Brahma Kumaris is we are actually erasing the previous old thoughts that's been causing pain and suffering to us till date, and start instilling thoughts that is very powerful, very positive, and that's able to bring nothing but happiness all the time. how do we do that? It involves two steps. First, as I already said, by indulging oneself in yoga continuously, that is by considering themselves as a soul and by thinking of God. And the second step is by putting in those pure thoughts. Where do we get that? Because this world is filled with negative thoughts that's capable of creating heart attack, that's capable of increasing our blood pressure, that's more like self-torture, right? The whole world is filled with only that. So where do we go to get those pure thoughts that's capable of changing one's mentality, thereby bringing happiness continuously, permanently? How's that possible? That's where God comes. That's why God is called truth. Only God can speak truth. If God is truth, it obviously means everything else is false. So God says the only place that's filled with peace as of now is this soul world. That can also be called as the peaceful world. So that's the only place where the peace is available right now. So we can never get peace in this planet Earth, no matter where you go. So this is the only place filled with peace, because God is there. The souls that has not taken birth yet, they will also be there, and they will have no thoughts there. So it can be called as a thoughtless world as well. They can speak also, because they don't have body, right? So as much as we unite our mind with the God, so much is the peace we can get for ourselves. Not only that, as much as we connect to the God, the whole surroundings will be filled with peace as well. That's the same peace that you can feel when you step into any Hindu temple. You can experience peace. Maybe that's the truth with other religious places as well, but I haven't gone to others. So that's one method of bringing peace, but still it takes time. So we have to use another weapon to bring peace. What is it? Because see, if somebody is actually causing pain to me by their words, so whenever I see them, I get tense, right? So at that moment you cannot practice breathing, because you will be focused on their words. So that's obviously going to make you peaceless. At that moment you cannot resort to any method like smoking cigarette or taking any narcotic drugs or watching television, no matter. And even these things that give temporary peace, sometimes even they fail to give peace when your pain level is very high, because your eyes will be watching television but your mind will be just repeating the incidents that caused pain. So even they fail at some level. But what we are discussing now, that's the permanent solution. So the first thing, we have to unite your mind to God. When do you do that? Always. Because our aim is not to experience peace temporarily, but to experience peace permanently. So what do? We permanently unite our mind with God, because this is the first time we ever know the appearance of God, the quality of God, the residence of God. So what else are you waiting for, right? And the actual method to think about God. And this is the only way to burn all our sins that have been stored as sanskar. That's why we are burning the old sanskar and instilling the new sanskar. Actually, God is doing that through Brahma Kumaris. By listening to the knowledge, we automatically change ourselves, and we can realize it very easily, because the difference will not be slight. It will be very massive. So anybody can easily say the difference, whether it is you or your friends. They can easily make out the difference that you have brought for yourself through this divine knowledge. So now we are going to, actually there are many methods to bring peace. For that you have to, as of now I'm not putting English videos on Brahma Kumari's classes, that is we call as Murli classes. As of now I'm not putting those classes, but in the near future I may put that. So please rush to the nearest Brahma Kumari center with an open mind, listen to what they teach, then you will find that you are actually listening to your spiritual father, that is the God, directly. So let me share with you a nice technique to bring peace. If you hate somebody, every moment you confront them, you think of them, you are going to torture yourself. That is, the negative thoughts are going to arise. So that's going to make you peaceless. That's going to increase your blood pressure. So it will also reflect on your body as well, right? So it affects both your mind and body. So no matter what method you use, you have been using previously, that's not going to work. So if you use this method, instead of getting pain while confronting the person who has been giving pain to you, you will start experiencing happiness. So it will start giving the reverse effect. So what should we do to get that effect? It's pretty simple, just try it. But you cannot ignore God. You have to do yoga. So no other way. So that cannot be replaced. So what you have to do in addition is what I'm going to say. So actually this is said directly by God in Murli. So I'm just taking that and explaining. This is not my own knowledge, but it's working because it's my own experience. Not my knowledge, but not my experience. That's it. You can experience it as well, because after watching these videos, there's no point in arguing it is right or wrong. It's all about experiencing and not about arguing, right? Just experience it for yourself, then you'll know the truth. First, if you're a Brahma Kumari, obviously you would be constantly remembering God as a point of light. So that will solve the first step. But if you're not yet a Brahma Kumari, try this initially for just 1 minute. Okay, whenever you get the thought of the person who has been causing you trouble, then what you have to do is you quickly realize yourself as a point of light, and you forget about your body completely. Try it. Even if you can't succeed in the beginning, it's okay, just try it. Put that effort to realize or visualize yourself as a soul that shines like a star. You don't have a body. Feel like that. Just consider yourself as a point of light. Then you start remembering your father, your spiritual father, the God in this place. So how do you visualize that? You visualize him as a point of light, in this golden orange colored light world. Or you can use this. It's all your ability to visualize. That's it. So you remember God continuously for just a minute. It's pretty easy, right? You don't have to sit for long. Actually, you don't have to sit at all. It's just the mind work. Okay, if you sit and do this yoga, it will be very easy for you, but there's no special posture. Just sit comfortably and start focusing. It's all in the mind control. So think of him for a minute continuously. Then you bring that mind, so you bring that person who's been troubling you before you mentally. You think of him as a soul as well, because he's a soul also, right? He also shines like a star in his body. So you forget his face, just retain his soul. And you are also a soul, right? You have forgotten your body consciousness as well. Now you start focusing on the good qualities of that soul. No matter how bad one person is, he must have few good qualities as well. So if you can't, because you have been actually focusing on his negative characters only so far, right? So now you have to put some effort to focus on his good qualities, on the good side. How do you do that? Initially, when just think of the time when you and him had no issues at all. So think of those early times. So you must have seen his good qualities. Or else think of his friends. So obviously he must have someone who likes him, loves him, right? Ask them about the good qualities of this person that you hate. So they should help you out in that. So focus on those qualities and say that to yourself. For example, if he is taking good care of his family, you can say, wow, he is taking very good care of his children, of his wife, of his parents. So like that. So you focus on his one good quality or more. So one is enough. If possible, you can focus on more as well. After that, you start giving the power, because his attitude that's been giving trouble to you is actually a result of certain power, right? If he is angry towards you, it obviously means that he lacks the power to remain peaceful. So give that power. So how do you do that? Again, by saying to yourself, let that soul be filled with peace, bliss, or whatever power you want to give him. If that uh, person lacks courage to confront the situation, which is why he's been spreading lies, then you can give him the power to confront any situation peacefully. So likewise, you give him the power. It's blessing actually, right? Bless him with the power. So after this third step, the first step is connecting your realizing yourself as the soul and connecting your mind to God, that is yoga. The second step is focusing on his good qualities and saying that to yourself, and the third one is blessing them with power. And the fourth step is the first step, that is again go back to God, remember him, forget everything about the person or anything in this world, just go blank and put only God in your mind. Be with him for the next 1 minute. That's it. So if you can't be there for a minute, at least be there for as much as you can, for a few seconds to 1 minute. So whenever you get the thought of that particular person who has been troubling you, practice this method. After practicing this method for 4 or 5 times, you will feel very happy. You will feel totally in control. So you need not restrict this practice only to that person. You can also practice the same thing with whoever that comes to your mind. They need not be giving you pain. They may be your friends, relatives. So whoever you think, just practice this. So it will be more like a game. So what you get out of it, you will start experiencing bliss throughout the day if you practice this throughout the day. So the first thing that's happening inside you is you are actually erasing the negative thoughts, because it is the thought that creates pain, right? Because somebody you hate, you start creating negative thoughts about him and you start focusing on it. As a result, all you get is pain. And there is surely certain group of people who love that person, so whenever they think of that person, they produce positive thoughts about him. As a result, they enjoy happiness. So the choice is yours, whether you are going to torture yourself or whether you are going to choose happiness for yourself permanently. So by using this simple meditation technique, your life will be changed drastically. Try it. Please don't argue, because we don't gain anything by arguing. We are just wasting our time in arguing. Try it. You will see the truth. And I request you to go to the Brahmakumari Center as soon as possible to get full knowledge, because what we share is just a drop. So I want all of you to enjoy this knowledge directly from God, which is available only through Brahmakumari Center. So please go there as soon as possible. Please visit brahmakumaris.com if you are from India to locate the nearest center in your place. If you are residing abroad, then log into brahmakumaris.org and locate the nearest center in your area for yourself. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching. Spread this message as much as possible and help others to experience happiness as well. Thanks for watching. Om Shanti.